Hello and welcome to Tech Smarter. This is the show where we talk with innovators, operators, and investors who are shaping the future of aging services. I'm your host, Abbie Richie, the tech guru at the Smarter service. Today's episode is sponsored by Leading Age Arizona, and this show is brought to you by the Smarter service. Now, if you're a senior living operator and you're struggling with the constant demands of tech that your residents have, and we know their questions have questions, I want you to reach out to us. Go ahead and DM me tech, and I'll be sure to connect with you. And without further ado, I'd like to bring my guest on today. We have Paul Pagnato. Welcome to Tech Smarter, Paul. I'm thrilled to have you with us.
Thank you, Abby. It's an honor to be here on your show.
Oh, thank you. Paul, for anyone who's not familiar with you and how you've been growing and adopting and within the aging services longevity place, could you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
Be delighted to. Yeah, so my longevity journey and health optimization journey started 35, 40 years ago. So I'm a scientist at heart, a microbiologist. First position out of school was on a project with NASA. And so been studying, really advanced modalities from stem cells to contrast therapy to fasting to fitness and sleep for literally decades and decades. Been very fortunate to work alongside Dr. Laura Carstensen, the founder of the Stanford Center on Longevity. Very, very close also with the Buck Institute, Dr. Eric Verdin, the CEO there, served on the board of a prominent hospital in Northern Virginia, Innova, served on the board of Bulletproof, Dave Asprey's company there, Dr. Mary Lou Jepson's company, Open Water, and I go on, but this has just been something I've been called to do for decades.
It's so unique because in the past, let's say 10 years, we've seen such a shift in what's happening in aging services. We've seen such a shift, and we can only anticipate more of that with a growing number of older adults that are aging every single day. And this type of shift looks like it has gone from, say, a 3-stage life to a 100-year multi-stage journey. How do we recode our mindset so that these extra decades are really a period of growth rather than just a super long retirement?
Thank you, Abby. So the data is spot on. There's already over 935,000 centenarians, people living over the age of 100. And these individuals are vibrant. A lot of them are still engaged, working. They're playing with their great grandchildren. They're bicycling. They're hiking. So they're very vibrant, have an amazing health span. So I think what's really important is to reframe how we think about our health and our quality of life and the amount of time we're going to be here on this planet Earth. So at Stanford, we've spent, oh my gosh, at least 5 years on a project called the New Map of Life. And that was really led by Dr. Laura Carstensen. And it's really, if you think about it, what's happening today versus our parents or grandparents. I mean, both of my grandfathers worked for General Motors, and both of them retired from General Motors, and they had their pension plan. Today, that's not the case. That's not the situation, right? The gig economy is exploding. People have self-directed IRAs and 401k plans that they're contributing to prepare for their retirement. And what's happening is we're living longer, more vibrant lives. People are actually having 2, 3, 4 different career paths. So it is not uncommon for someone to go to school, study a certain profession, go into the labor force, be an expert at that, and then go back to school and have a different career, a different path. I mean, just myself, I'm 61 years old and I've had probably 4 different careers. in the span of the last 20 years. So the new map of life is really defining what it looks like, and it's so exciting when you have this mindset that, yeah, I'm going to be able to be active mentally, physically, relationship wise, beyond 60, 70, 80. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. You just reminded me, I come from four generations of entrepreneurs. So on both sides of my family, and I saw my grandparents, totally thriving in maybe their fourth profession, and one that they absolutely love and continue to do up until the day they passed away,
Mhm.
because they just loved it, and it was totally different than what they originally started out to do. My stepfather, up until his 80s, only worked on days that started with T, and that's it. So, like for me, that's kind of the mindset. Like you continue to do what you're passionate about, and that's going to fuel you into your years, right? And
Completely.
and one thing I heard you say earlier was about health span, and how does this health span ROI change how someone in their 70s should be investing their energy today?
Yeah, so we're in this era that we're entering of life optimization. And when we focus and have intentionality to optimize our life in all the different areas and components, the outcome is a very long, high quality health span. So versus a lifespan. Some individuals have in their mind, when they get older, they're not going to be able to do things. They're not going to be able to travel. They're not going to be able to be physical. They're not going to be able to have great relationships with the loved ones and their friends. They're not going to be able to make impact and create value for society. And that's just not the case. I've traveled to all the blue zones. There's 6 blue zones in the world. My friend Dan Buettner, did this deep study and work. And I've met with these centenarians all over the world. And they are as vibrant, they are as purpose driven of a human being as anybody that I've ever met. So having energy so having an energy that allows us to continue to do the things that are important to us and having the mobility and the cognitive skills to be able to do so is literally life changing. And that's health span.
Gotcha. So improving health span is truly the best way to keep residents independent, right?
100%. So you have individuals like, my parents, they're in their early 80s and they have very independent lives. They still live in a condo. They still take care of each other. They go shopping. They go on walks. They're very engaged. So when we are optimizing our life and we're taking care of ourselves in this manner, it is just abundant the things that we can do and continue to care for ourselves.
You mentioned the blue zones, and one thing that we're always talking about here at the Smarter Service is how do we expand into serving residents in those areas? Have you found that there are certain ideal markets that prove that longevity technology can be scaled for the average older adult?
Yeah, so it's a beautiful question, Abby. So there's these blue zones that there's 6 of them. All of them but one are organic. They're just natural, the environment. And when you go there, you feel it. It hits you immediately. But we're living in the 21st century today. And it's a different world. We have digital devices right now. We're all engaged digitally, and it's beautiful because it scales enormously, and it's connecting all of us, which is critical for our social connectivity. So, as we get older, it is so important to stay, socially connected. And whether that's FaceTiming, whether that's on a Zoom or a Google, to be able to continually connect with our loved ones, to be able to continually connect with our friends, is absolutely paramount. So this is just one simple way that we can stay connected. Um, Harvard has done the biggest study on this very topic. They've put together 148 different studies. This is over an 84-year period. So multiple generations from all over the world. And they found that a male that's really connected in their social network versus a male that is least connected, top tier versus bottom tier, is 2.3 times the amount of their longevity. It's equivalent to someone who is a smoker versus a not smoker. And a female, it's even more pronounced. It's 2.8 times. So the connectivity part of our life and our social well-being directly impacts our longevity.
Got it. And would you say that Florida might be the ideal market for that type of lifestyle?
Well, Florida is definitely has a lot of these blue zone characteristics. So, like where I live currently is in St. Petersburg, Florida, just outside of Tampa, and it's the number one walkable city in the country. So there are times when days will pass and I don't need to get into a car. So I'm able to do everything walking. And so that's a super attribute. The second is it's in a coastal environment. So most of Florida, if you look at the map of the state of Florida, is touching the ocean, which is another attribute of these blue zones, having that natural salt air. And then the connectivity, getting back to the social aspect. It's very vibrant. It's all year long. It's a season all year long for people to be able to do things. So I've found there's a lot of reasons why the state of Florida is just so robust in demographics and so many people moving here, and the quality of life is certainly one of them.
I love it. You know, we've been expanding our footprint in Florida with the Smarter service at different communities.
Mhm.
And it's something that we've found over and over again is that there's such a demand for tech in that state. Like there's truly just the connectivity that you mentioned earlier with, say, for instance, doing FaceTime or using your Apple Watch or something like that. Like we found that the residents in Florida are more tech savvy than, say, residents in other states, maybe besides California. Have you found that as well?
I have, and the amount of businesses that are moving here, technology companies that are moving to Florida, is just exponentially growing. Palantir, one of the top technology companies, a top AI company, just announced they're moving from California to Miami. So when you have a group of people like Palantir and others that are moving here, Mark Zuckerberg, he just moved to Jupiter, Florida. So when you have these technology companies, you have these tech entrepreneurs that are relocating to a state like Florida, it draws a lot of people. But I have also found that the generation, individuals in their 70s and 80s, they're wired like they are using their devices. It's not uncommon for that generation to be having an Apple Watch, an Oura Ring, a Whoop, and they're very mindful of their sleep. They're very mindful of their movement, and it's awesome to see.
It is, and I love the fact that you brought this up because being in senior living, as I have for maybe the past 7 or 8 years now, it's one of those prevailing myths that older adults don't really care about technology, which we know is totally wrong, right? And the more that we can educate them, the more that we can provide them with a foundation of understanding when it comes to their devices, like they just gravitate towards that piece of education and want to learn how to use their devices their way.
So true, and that's growth. So what is really important for all of us and a species, like 99.9% of all species on our planet have gone extinct. And the common denominator with humans is that we continue to grow. And technology, we're in the technology era, right? We're in this exponential era. AI is increasing 10x per year. hardware is increasing 10x per year, software is increasing 10x per year. So it is just incredible all the opportunities this is providing us. So for all generations to be able to continue to grow cognitively, mentally, and there's a level of sophistication with technology. It's incredible to see our quality of lives are actually increasing.
Yep. And when it comes to adding in things like tech stacks and for health and AI and biomarkers, these are things that may have been only used for elite athletes only. How do we take things like that and make them simple and affordable for a typical senior living community?
Yeah, so getting back to the technology, in a senior community, them being able to access, their telephone that has an app on it, and now these apps will allow one to integrate their wearables. So they'll allow the app, you can actually upload all of your biomarkers. So if 3 months ago you had your blood work done, it can all be integrated into the app. And then these apps and technologies can all be synced up with whom your primary care physician is, who your doctor is. So it's enabling the individual that resides in one of these communities to be so much more intelligent, so much more in tune with their health, their biomarkers every day, but also their advisors, their doctors that are taking care of them.
Yeah, and something that really comes into play here is just in regards to transparency. I know that for many older adults, transparency when it comes to their health data can be really intimidating. How does being transparent with data help older adults overcome their fear of, say, new health technologies?
Yeah, so I think it's just normal for any human being to fear that level of transparency. I like to use the acronym for fear, false expectations appearing real. So what happens is the more technological advancements we have, the higher the level of transparency is occurring. So technology and transparency go hand in hand. So we're in this exponential era of technology. So we're also in this exponential period of time with transparency. So in 3 to 5 years, there's not going to be any secrets because you're going to be able to just talk into AI, and AI is going to be able to inform you and give you the facts about anything or anybody. So we're just very, very quickly headed there. But I think it's normal to fear that individuals will take advantage of that information, and that does happen. So it's important that we have the proper procedures in place, and that you work with a quality firm that has the proper cyber protections in place. But to be able to know, what your resting heartbeat is, to know, the quality of sleep that you're receiving, to know that you're taking in the proper nutrients, to know that your blood pressure is at the proper level. And this is all technology and this is all data. And that's super, super important for the individual to know, and also for your practitioners that are helping you. So that's data that someone may be uncomfortable with providing, but it's just vital for their success. So transparency is beautiful. It's here and it's here to stay.
Yeah, it's got me thinking about how we will all have a digital twin, right? Or
Mhm.
personalized health data that really increases our own sense of autonomy. Is that how you see an older adult expanding their ability to care for themselves?
Yes, and even younger adults. So, there are organizations that I'm working with that are creating these digital twins, and you're going to be able to actually uh, put into your system, your computer, your app. Well, what if I, have some ice cream now? How's that going to impact me, or how's that going to impact me the next day? and you'll feed the system that, your digital twin, and you'll see exactly what the outcome is. Or it may be, I'm going to go, I'm not going to work out for the next 2 days. How's that going
Yeah.
to impact me? Or, I'm going to stay up late and watch this movie and I'm only going to get 5 hours sleep. What's the impact going to be? You're actually going to be able to see that with your digital twin. It's pretty
I'm
amazing.
I'm laughing because my digital twin would probably say, "Okay, Abby, you've stuck to your goals all day today, and now it's 9 p.m. and you want to eat that dessert." Mm. Yeah,
Well, we have to enjoy life as well, right? That's super important. We have to enjoy life.
absolutely. We often say that seniors or older adults get left behind by the technology, but I've heard you argue that tech is actually the great equalizer in health. What's one entry level piece of technology that every older adult should be using today?
Yeah, I would say, and I absolutely love the question. So, if one is an iOS user, an Apple user, I would say the health app on the iPhone, even Android users have access to it. I would suggest the health app. That's of no charge on their devices. So within their health app, they can measure their mobility, how much activity they have each day. They're going to be able to measure their heart rate. They're going to be able to measure their sleep that they have. So many functions. So that would be the one I would recommend to somebody that pretty simple to utilize, set up, and we'll just get somebody thinking and have some intentionality regarding
Mhm.
some of these key performance indicators for living a long quality life.
Right. Everything from gait analysis to fall detection to just breathing mindfulness, right? Or,
Mhm.
stand,
Yes,
it's time to stand up. It's time to
exactly.
breathe. Yeah. Time to have some water, that kind of thing. I do think that the Apple Watch is a great entry level piece of technology. I've also seen other things such as these scales, like the Zibrio scale, for instance, that you can stand on daily. You may already be using a daily scale, but it also is tracking your balance and any fall detection and just your overall symmetry. Have you been exposed to anything like that?
I have, and I love those. Like, so say even the basics. So say all of a sudden, I'm losing a lot of weight, and it doesn't like tie with everything else that's going on with me. It's like, why? Why is that? Or if I'm gaining a lot of weight, why is that? But also these will measure your body fat, your body mass, your heartbeat can be measured, your balance can be measured. And I think it's just good awareness cognitively of how your biometrics are. So I have, and I'm a big fans. I've also used the withing scale, which
Mhm.
can automatically tie right into your phone. So you have a track record of all your data.
How do you feel about the influx of, say, toilet tech?
Yeah, I haven't had much experience
Uh-huh.
on that with that Abby being very transparent. So you probably are more up to speed on that than me, but I'm just not up to speed on that.
No problem. You mentioned earlier about the work you've done with NASA in regards to longevity. How close are we to the point where science starts adding more than 1 year of life for every year that we live?
Yeah. Well, according to some very bright people like Ray Kurzweil, who is the founder of Singularity University, uh, the statisticians are saying that's 5 to 7 years away. So I'll put it into context. In 1880, the average person was aging 25 months per year and they had an average lifespan in their 30s. So that was in the 1880s. So today, an optimally fit person, so probably someone like you, Abby, so someone who's very fit, who's very, very active, doing all the right things, is aging at only a pace of 8 months per year. So that's a huge contrast from 25 months a year to 8 months a year. So, as that gets down to 7 months a year, 6 months a year, five, four, three, two, one, we're getting there. And again, we're in this exponential era. So time will tell. I think the consensus today is already today that an individual properly taking care of themselves should be able to live a quality life to 100. Again, there's already 935,000 people all over the world that are over the age of 100.
So impressive. I want to ask you, and we may have talked just a little bit about it. It's the longevity dividend that can really boost the economy. Now, in my work, a lot of people will say it's the silver tsunami, which I don't like to talk about at all because that sounds like a negative thing. But is there a way to really lead aging into an economic engine?
Absolutely. One of the most profound impacts on a society's economy is health span, people living longer, healthier. You simply are adding that many more lives to the population that are consumers. And just in the United States, adding 1 to 2 years of health span, quality life for the average individual in our population adds trillions of dollars to the economy. So just think about that. Just adding 1 to 2 years, adding trillions of dollars. Think of what can happen and where those dollars can be placed and the impact that can be made. It's it's exponential. It's literally mind-boggling. So it's a real quantifiable impact on the economy with people taking care of themselves and doing the right things and living a longer quality, healthy life.
So, if you are speaking to a senior living operator, and many of the people who watch Tech Smarter are senior living operators, what would you recommend in order to increase the lifespan and the longevity of a resident?
Yeah. So it starts with education. So Nelson Mandela said this so eloquently that education is the most powerful force in the universe. So the first step would be for these amazing communities to provide the tools to be able to educate their constituents, their residents in their communities on some of the things that we're talking about. So that's the first step is education. And then the second step would be provide tools. So provide, actionable tools for the residents to be able to take action upon. It may be healthier eats. It may be facilities to be able to have movement and to exercise in. It may be social engagement. And I know many, many communities are already on their way, are already doing these things. But that's what I would suggest. So it's education, informing them, and then providing the tools to stay connected, be more active, eat healthier, and just be aware of the impact all these things can make.
It's so important. So, I want to ask you. I know you mentioned your parents. What would you recommend to your parents today that they start doing to extend the longevity of their lives?
Mm. Love that question. I would recommend for them to and encourage them to continue to increase their social network. So they are social beings to begin with, but I would just recommend for them to continue the social aspect, continue to make impact, continue to help other people. If every day all of us can walk away at the end of the day having made a difference to someone else, making an impact to someone else, and doing that through our own social networks,
Yeah.
that's going to add a lot of years to our life.
100%. You know what? If people want to get in contact with you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
The best is LinkedIn. I'm very, very active on LinkedIn, so it just was placed up there. So if you type in my name, Paul Pagnato, and you put LinkedIn, you'll come right to my profile. I'd love for you to follow me, actively posting every single week, and we can have a dialogue that way.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being a guest today. And for those of you that are joining us in the chat afterwards, we love your participation, and we will see you all right back here next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Abbie.